What's up, Dolphin fans? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Josh House, and today we're going to take a look at Miami Dolphins' 6th round pick, Malik Washington, wide receiver from Virginia. Originally played for Northwestern, but then transferred to Virginia as a senior and absolutely went ape. Led the nation with 110 receptions, 1,426 yards, and 9 touchdowns. If you want to look at what he did in college, I think I captured 3 or 4 games of what he did. Go back and check that out. I might link it at the end of this video. But Malik Washington, whether it was in college, whether we saw it throughout the preseason, he shows a bit of explosiveness that kind of reminds me of Jarvis Landry. Maybe it's because he's doing it with end rounds. Maybe it's because he's doing it in return game. Maybe it's because he's naturally a slot wide receiver. And let's be honest, he doesn't have that elite speed similar to Jarvis Landry, but when he has that ball in his hand, he is an absolute dog. So with the Miami Dolphins receiving room right now banged up, Odell Beckham Jr. starting the season on the PUP list, Eric Ezukama on the practice squad, Robbie Chosen added to the practice squad, River Craycraft, out for some extended time. So right now you got Tyreek Hill who's banged up, Jalen Waddle who's banged up, Braxton Berrios, Malik Washington. And then you have Grant DeBose, who you just grabbed off waivers from the Green Bay Packers. So Malik Washington could have a role sooner rather than later for the Miami Dolphins. And I just want to take some time to break down what he did throughout this preseason. So if you like what we're doing here on the YouTube channel, I'm going to mostly do film breakdowns. But once I get caught up with the preseason stuff, I hope to be able to come on here and react to some things. Mike McDaniel signed a new contract. Tua Tagovailoa even signed a new contract that I didn't really get a touch on outside of the podcast that I do just about daily. Another Dolphins podcast. You can find that wherever you check out your podcast and on the 560 WQAM YouTube channel. But enough about me. Today, let's take a look at Malik Washington. Here are some of the highlights I pulled from the Week 1 game against the Atlanta Falcons, Week 2 against the Washington Commanders, and then Week 3 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And before we jump into the tape, just again, remember, this is preseason. Some of these guys probably did not make a 53-man roster. Other guys may be starting for teams. So take everything you see, digest it yourself, and form your own opinion. I am not here to tell you that Malik Washington is going to be a superstar. I'm not here to tell you Malik Washington won't be a superstar. I honestly am an absolute sicko, so I already have some dynasty shares of Malik Washington. Probably plan to get a few more. So, again, watch the tape. Make your own opinion, but Malik Washington's probably going to see some type of role earlier rather than later. And when you watch what he did in the return game, I got to be honest, if Braxton Berrios and there weren't some injuries to that receiving corps, maybe you'd be moving Braxton Berrios right now to a team that needed a return man, needed a slot wide receiver. So check it out. Malik Washington preseason highlights right here, right off the bat. You can see what I'm talking about with some of that shiftiness, that Jarvis Landry-esque, and honestly just how genius Mike McDaniel's offense is. You see Durham Smythe motion over to the right, and then Skylar Thompson sells this thing both ways. You see guys pulling there, and then they just dump it off to Malik Washington, who has Andrew Meyer out there. You see him running around. Could be one of the Miami Dolphins. I don't want to see a key player on that offensive line. May do an Andrew Meyer breakdown as well before the season starts. Here's another look at that end around. Here he's just taking a regular screen. A lot of these receptions that he had this preseason were screens. 3 catches, 16 yards, so not much there. But here you can see what he can bring to the run game. Looking at blocking down on that. Laid out his man. Don't know how much it contributed to that actual touchdown, right? Jalen Wright was probably going to score either way, but man, that was nice to see. Here's Mike White taking a shot deep. So you can see he doesn't quite have that speed that some of these other guys has, but he's going to be a slot wide receiver. He's going to be a guy that catches that underneath stuff that's opened up for him and makes those critical catches on third down, hopefully. Again, similar to what we saw with Jarvis Landry. Here I believe is another shot they try to take deep. He's working on the slot again. Just a tad off, almost there, just right out of the reach of his arms. Tua Tagovailoa, I mean, with his pinpoint accuracy, some of these things might be so long and good night, so to speak. Here you can see some of his, some of what he can do in the return game. I mean, honestly, in this game, these were some of the best returns we've seen all preseason and maybe even all of last season. Here, I believe, is another end around or a screenplay. Yep, typical Malik Washington screenplay. So again, nothing too crazy here. You're not seeing a guy that's going to revolutionize the NFL game, maybe not even change the Miami Dolphins offense as much as an Odell Beckham Jr. or a Jonnu Smith, but he's a young player, 23 years old, a guy the Dolphins had some type of interest in. And when you can think about what this man can do as a slot wide receiver with Wes Welker, with some of those other guys in the room, I'm excited to see what he can become as, again, a 6th round pick. And for those who follow me on Twitter, who follow me, throughout whatever this journey is, that there's nothing I love more than these late round acorn receivers who end up not sticking and things like that. So again, you see a little bit of what he can do in the return game. You can see what he can do as a slot wide receiver with the ball in his hands. Would have liked to see him maybe break one, maybe show that he, was a different tier of a player than some of these guys he was going against. But overall, as a rookie, it sounds like he's getting this offense down. We see him no block, no rock type of stuff, like what he's going to bring to this offense, and like what we saw of him, even though it was just a little bit this preseason. And I think that's going to be it for this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I did not come on here with my ugly mug this time. We'll probably show off the man cave a little bit, maybe have my Ricky Williams jersey in the background at times, and also just come on here and use my voice, because my face is definitely built for radio. So again, thank you so much for even tuning into these videos, for enjoying any of the work I put out. I will be dropping a Jalen Wright cut up in the coming days, maybe even later tonight. Channing Tindall as well. I also have Chop Robinson on my list, it looks like, and Storm Duck. So I did Skylar Thompson. I did some other stuff earlier with the rookies. Now I'm trying to showcase some of these preseason guys, some of these players, these young guys that, this might have been the first time we got to see them in the Miami Dolphins uniform. Patrick Paul as well. I mean, guys that might not make an immediate impact this year, but long term could be keystones of this Miami Dolphins football team. So again, thank you so much. Go enjoy the rest of your day, and I will be back soon. But until then, most importantly, fins up.